Okay, so this is the one we're going to work on. It's a Dansette Major, and I bought this one from Gumtree. It cost me about 50 quid, and that was came all the way from Belfast, and that was including postage. So, but very dirty, as you can see. Definitely seen better days, the wreck scene. The grill is intact, which is nice. The logo is there, a bit grubby. Controls are there. A few chips and bumps, and a bit of a wobble on the lid. Let's look inside. So we got a letter, we got a record. That's a bonus. So what have we got here? We've got, oh my word, little Jimmy Osmond, long-haired lover from Liverpool. So I'm not surprised that was given as a freebie. Still. Oh, camera just went off. Don't know quite why that happened, but anyway, just carrying on. We'll have another look. Under here we have, yeah, a rather decrepit stylus, but a full-fire cartridge. No idea if that makes any noise. We'll have a look at that. But well, she turns and something's going on here. Controls are here, very stiff. Yeah, okay, and but still, generally pretty disgusting, but has some good possibilities. So we'll have to see what we can do about you, my dear, and I'll give you some updates as I get on with the restoration.
Okay, so first things first. Now you may be inclined just to plug one of these in, see if it spins and see if it makes a noise, but I found it's often better to do some basic checks first. So we'll have a look under the platter, trying to do this one-handed. There's a circuit just here. This is going to be quite hard to do one-handed. Let me just swap hands. And this one tends to fly across the room if you're not careful. Okay, good. Let's see if we can. Okay, I want to do it auto cycle on. Let's just shut that down. Just put you down for a minute. Let's see if we can get this off with one hand now. Let's put you down a second. Okay, so that's what we normally find underneath. There's often a little washer. You have to be careful, that might stick to the underside of the platter. That's somewhere safe. That's the underside of the platter there. And what we have here is the drive wheel and other bits and pieces. The speed changer is very sticky, so we'll lubricate that. And we lubricate down here these bearings, all the washers, and generally clean her up. So I'll do that now. That's the little spindle bearing. And often these things are really clogged up with very stiff grease that's been there for the last 50 years. So you can soak them or get some white spirit on there and clean them up and re-grease them. And then there's a little circlip on the idler wheel just here. That guy has to come off. Okay. I'm going to take the wheel off. It's got some little washers, one at the top and one at the bottom. So we'll get some oil on there, looking a bit rusty. So we'll make sure we clean all this up and get some grease on there. Try and get it back, changing the speed, which it's not doing at the moment. Right, that's now freed up. I'll use some spray grease. That's lithium grease. It's not WD-40 as we understand WD-40, but it's a grease made by WD-40. That's quite useful for spraying onto mechanisms. You have to try and avoid getting grease onto the drive motor spindle, and because you don't want that to be slipping. But that's now, I think you can see that now will be raising the idler wheel So it runs on the different steps of this spindle, which is driven by a motor. So that's running quite nicely now. Now the idler wheel, which came off here, this is what drives the platter around, and sometimes these can be glazed or hardened because they're 50 years old, it's made of rubber, and they can be quite problematic. I've got a few spares, but actually this one's pretty good. You can use some fine emery and take the surface off, and also there's a product that I use called Rubber Renew. It's very good, which is used on printers and things, and that helps to restore the surface. But if you ever get one that won't drive, or particularly during the auto cycle, it'll stall, and that's because this thing is not driving, it's slipping, and it's not driving the platter properly. So anyway, we'll see how we do with this one. I'll just put it back on. Right, that's back on now, and you can see how the speed control just moves that wheel to different parts of this shaft here, to give you the different speeds. Sometimes if it's not lining up properly, it's because these grommets here. Have a quick look at the platter. That's the platter here. So what I tend to do is just with some medium emery is just give it a good old scratch on the inside and then wipe it round. I find that helps to give a bit of extra key again, because that's what's driven by this rubber wheel. So it gives it a bit more friction. And so we can try putting that back on again. I made sure I put the washer back. Spinning okay. I won't put the circlip on for the moment. We'll just see whether it's going to run. But I should also say we've run a bit of 3-in-1 oil. This is an oil lubricated bearing, so we can run some in just there, and that'll help things along. Okay, and I've taken off this horrible 2-pin plug and just thrown on a plug, or thrown on. But I'm still using the 2-core cable. It is actually double insulated, which is quite unusual for these. Quite often they're just single insulated, just looks like bell wire. But 3-amp fuse in there. So we'll just see whether she'll turn or whether she'll fire up. So flicker on there. Bit of a hum. Not too much. Ah, okay, good. That's driving nicely. Speed control seems to be working. Good, good, good. Hammer's got a little bit louder as she's warmed up. Ooh. Very nasty crackling from the amp. And if you just touch the stylus gently, not really anything coming through there, but if I touch the wires behind, I can hear something going on. So it might be the cartridge is gone, which is not unusual. These cartridges are made of, they have a crystal inside them, and that you're lucky if they've survived, but even if they have survived, they're probably not going to last much longer, so that'll really need changing. But anyway, the signs are quite good. So it's time to have a look inside at the amp, I think. So I've taken out the screws. See if I can do this with one hand. In here we see the amp. So normally you can just lift this up and perch it like this. So in here you can see the underside of the table. So that'll all need some re-greasing, I would say, bit of clean up. That rectifier there will need changing. We can see the valve here, we can see some capacitors and different bits and pieces, and obviously the speaker is there. Pretty simple things these, there's not that many components. You must be extremely careful though, and in fact I'm not recommending anyone attacks these unless they've got some sort of training. I have some training. I studied electronic engineering and mechanical engineering, but you can get some nasty jolts off some of these components, even if it's been turned off and even if it's been sat around for 5 or 10 minutes. The capacitors can still hold a lot of charge, and in certain circumstances that charge is sufficient to cause injury or even death. So it's important to know what you're doing. Anyway, I've done lots and lots of these, so I'll start working on the amp now. And here's a good tip for getting the knobs off. Do not try and get them off with a screwdriver, because something will break. What you can do, just get some normal WD-40 and get a bit of that in there, just on the stem. Will help. And then a piece of cord like this. Hook it round, one-handed. Around like this, and then you normally find you can pull them off. So I'll just let that WD-40 do a bit, and then I'll see if I can get them off. So here we go, that's one of them off, and bit of wiggling. Let's see. There we go. Otherwise, you break those, and they're a real pain to fix. Good. Okay, then there's a couple of screws here and here at the top, and 4 screws that hold down the main part of the amplifier. The pots, you'll find you can just pull up, and we're all loose now, so that will be that's the amplifier. Oops, screws dropping everywhere. That we can now take out of the case, and then we can clean the case without any danger of getting water all over the electrics. So let's see what we'll do next. Right, a few more screws. From the back here there's about 6, and then a bit of wiggling. We can take the speaker away, and we can get all the fluff off that. Sometimes I give them a bit of a spray coat. This one looks quite nice actually. The amp is to one side, so that means that we can now maybe think about cleaning up this box. Now it's just a box, so I'll take off the brass work and give her a good clean up.